epic chaos guitar solo. Spiky Bits. Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Rob Bear from SpikyBits.com. Today we're going to look at some more Wargame exclusive miniatures sculpted by Grimskull. These, they sent over a ton of minis, and I can't get them all on one video, so we're going to break it up into manageable, bite-sized, big cake chunks, gluten-free cake, of course. Today's going to be the chaos slice of the hobby cake, and they have great new releases for chaos miniatures and some not chaos miniatures as well, but you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. So over on Wargame exclusive site, wargameexclusive.com, they have a pretty big lineup of miniatures here. You can kind of see the different offerings. We're going to look at Chaos today. The most recent of the Chaos releases, actually one we've already had. We've had the Chaos Noisemaker, but today we've got the Deep Noise Disseminator, the Chaos Noise Screamer. This is an interesting model. It's definitely grimdarky. Chaos Thunderhammer Smash Lord. This one actually is pretty cool. It has a couple of different wing options too. So you've got the old raptor kind of bat wings with like a skin membrane type thing right there, and then just a traditional kind of jump jet raptor. Let's see if we can get to that instead of stringing through it. Here they are. There it is right there. So he's got his bolter with some belt ammunition, big hammer, and doing the little skitter step over some terrain right there. So that one's pretty cool. We're definitely going to take a closer look at that. Now, what I did want to show you was the affordability of these miniatures, because we know, if you're looking to get something to lead your Chaos Army, maybe one of these is kind of for you. Oh, we're going to look at the Corsair Lord today as well, and the demonic Corsair Cat too. But for the most part, they're €29.99, which is going to be kind of closer to $35 ish US. So they're a little bit cheaper than the $40 price tag for most of Games Workshop single miniatures. But keep this in mind, those are plastic miniatures that aren't quite as detailed as these, and these miniatures are resin boutique miniatures that you really should kind of compare to something like Forge World, or maybe some of their contemporaries, like some of the other resin manufacturers out there as well. So we're kind of comparing them to plastics, and it isn't a fair comparison, but the fact that they're cheaper than plastics and also have more detail, I feel like is a win just right there. Now, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but if you haven't seen a Grimskull miniature from Wargame exclusive, this is basically how they come in a little blister pack. It's got room on the back for a UPC, so if you're a retailer, again, you can always stock these in your store. They have some wholesale pricing. You can send an email and kind of find out more about that. Seems pretty reasonable, on par with what you're used to paying on the wholesale side of things. I've inquired into it because I was curious myself. Shipping wise, it's going to take about 2 weeks to get to you from Eastern Europe. And it's like $8, I think, for a pretty good chunk of miniature. So you can't complain about the shipping at all either. Generally, inside of each blister, you're going to get a base, a little pack of bits, and generally the main body and or who knows what's going on with any particular model from these guys. Let's be honest. They run the gamut on the artistic envelope for jerseys. So here's all the different bits for this particular miniature right here. And they're all super high quality. There's just so much going on with these. There isn't any bit of any of these miniatures from Wargame exclusive and Grimskull that doesn't have any detail for the most part. Maybe some capes and stuff, but you can do some sweet blends on that. And everything locks in, and really you're not going to have a hard time putting it together. You just might have a little bit of a hard time figuring out where all the pieces go, but fortunately they have like 360-degree pictures on their website and such, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. So this was the Deep Noise Disseminator, which is like the second kind of noise guitar marine that they've put out for their Chaos line right there. And I think it's pretty cool. Definitely doing a power solo right here. So let's see what it looks like all assembled. Here he is all put together, and there is a lot going on with this miniature for sure. Just like I said, the power cables going on up to, well, actually those might be sound cables. I don't really know. There's a speaker shoulder pad. I'm telling you, I love everything about these miniatures. They're so over the top, and they push the artistic envelope when it comes to the grimdark. Something that you really don't see from from some other manufacturers right there. I don't know what this thing is up here, but I like it. It's some sort of cover of a Sabaton album or something like that. I don't know. Or Mastodon, who knows? Or why not both? Why not both? And a chain sword whammy bar right here. Don't grab that one. That one might hurt. So a lot going on, and then of course, you know, a little rocker lady on the back. I don't know if that's part of the armor. It's like supposed to be painted up as a, is that a person, a disseminated person? I don't know. I can't tell what's going on here. But like I said, if you're into that grimdark, they definitely got you covered with these new releases for sure. And speaking of grimdark, there probably isn't a more grimdark miniature from the Chaos side of things than this Noise Screamer right here. This one's interesting because it's almost like the model is like playing a musical instrument that's somehow using this captured warrior lady, which I assume to be some sort of sister because it's actually got power armor sockets on it. So that's kind of interesting. You don't necessarily have to assemble it with this model on the little instrument thing right here, but you know, this sort of thing probably isn't for everybody. I mean, it's not for me. I don't know if I'd put this in my army, but I can see where folks would like this sort of thing because it's obviously very grimdark. I mean, the details are all fresh. There's crazy speakers and woofers and all sorts of things, and I mean, it's just got a lot going on. This is rock and roll 40K right here. And here's the miniature all assembled. So again, a really great looking base. All of their bases are pretty awesome. This is, you know, it's basically a Chaos size miniature. So you're looking at the new Chaos, which is very Primaris kind of size as far as that goes. So it's going to be on a 32, just like your stock kind of trooper. And there you can see the musical instrument, the little power armor sockets. And this, like I said, this part doesn't necessarily have to glue in, but then it would just look like a kind of a weird walking stick. So you could put, I don't know, maybe some like demon bits or something on there if you really wanted to. I mean, other than this, which really isn't my cup of tea, but again, I can see where others would like that tea. This posing and everything, it's almost like he's like, you know, hitting the microphone, you know, kind of like the lead singer Guar or something like that. I like the rest of the miniature. And I think maybe this isn't super necessary, and you can obviously convert it if you didn't like it. And there's lots of speakers and all sorts of stuff back here, so truly a veritable rock god of Chaos for sure. Almost halfway there. Actually, we are halfway there. Chaos Corsair Lord. This model is definitely a not Huron Blackheart, air quotes. It's on a 40 mil base. Well, it's got the Chaos demonic cat. What is this? The Hamydra. So we're gonna call him Demon Cat. I would love to see a bunch of these a little bit bigger, maybe. Could use them as like Cornish warhounds, maybe, or something like that. That'd be kind of cool to see. I like the posing of this particular Demon Cat here. His little familiar duder. It reminds me, I don't know, like the Ghostbusters or something, like the first movie. Like that's kind of what I'm feeling there. The little hellhound dudes, the gargoyles that come to life, and then of course got the feeds and the backpack with all the flamer, the axe, the little hand flicky flamery sort of thing. So a lot going on here. I'm sure it'll look even better once we get it kind of assembled up. But you can see no slouch when it comes to detail anywhere on this miniature. Here he is, all assembled and looking fresh. So you can see all the details that you've come to know and love about Huron. Of course, this is the not Huron Blackheart, but I like it. You know, this it's a pretty cool little Chaos cat right there. I'm digging that. And then he's got the traditional styling and such, and his little axe thing. And his face isn't quite burned off, but that's okay. We were not too worried about it, I suppose. And he's got some really cool looking details on his backpack and stuff. And there's no lack of details, that is for sure, on this miniature right here. Each one is almost a little resin masterpiece. And speaking of detail, last but not least, we have, what is this, the Thunderhammer Smash Lord. Say that 10 times fast. So no lack of detail here for sure. Two different sets of wings, of propulsion across the stars, I suppose. So you got these cool membrane wings that I talked about earlier. It's definitely maybe a little bit of a homage back to the old early 2000s Raptors. And then you got the traditional Warp Talon Raptor kind of jump pack thing. And I found this kind of curious, this little hammer right here. It's got almost a curve to it. And then I think this is one of the hammer bits right here with some Chaos little spiky bits, pun intended, on the end, and I guess that goes on one of these, or maybe it's on the back. I don't know yet. I gotta check the reference material, aka all of the images on the site, to try to figure out and decipher where all these things go. But for the most part, it's, I mean, I could just kind of look at it and kind of tell where things go. These are talons, so he's doing that little Chaos hot step over this really cool looking base here with some rebar and all sorts of different destroyed and burnt out skulls. I don't know. Every base has like a ton of skulls on it. It's crazy. And here he is doing his little Chaos hot step over some terrain. I didn't realize his little back kind of tabard was what was actually holding him up right there, and actually not the pinions, which are very well detailed and kind of crafted right there. And you can see all sorts of amazing detail work in there. Ornate Baroque armor for sure. Many spiky bits. And I like this bolter up here. This bolter is really cool with the little ammo feed down there. And of course, he is bringing his big hammer. It looks like it's both of those on there. Just went right on. Now, I wasn't sure the positioning of this. I actually forgot those were both the same. But I do like it. I figured it would be more overhead. But now that I'm getting a closer look at it, I'm definitely on board. I like this little gorget here that's kind of protecting the face. So it's got a lot of familiar styling. Now, of course, these are the winglets that would go on here, and I guess you could magnetize it if you really wanted to. I don't know. I suppose you just kind of choose it, and you know which one you would like from there. But these parts would go snap into right. Well, not snap, but you got to glue them on to kind of right here. So it'd be a bit more of a kind of like an outward. So this might be cool if you have two of these guys, or if you're running two of these in your Chaos army, and maybe you want to switch out the hand weapon, which would be easy enough to do. But I don't know which one's better. I mean, they both look good, and it just might be a little bit easier to see this guy if you have the two different little winglets on here. So that's just kind of something to consider. But either way, they're very well done. Everything is very well sculpted about all of these miniatures. And as far as sizing goes, you know, this is going to be a character model, so it's going to be on a 40 mil base, but it's definitely Chaos Lord Primaris sort of size right there. So, I mean, I think if you're looking for Chaos, definitely want to check out Wargame exclusive, because they have all sorts of these dope Grimskull miniature sculpts over on their site. And this is the latest quartet of evil bad guys from Wargame exclusive. So check them out over there, wargameexclusive.com.